Recording. Good morning, everyone. Ming Laba. Today we have our last Peace Studies present for the semester, and the topic is Youth Development and Cultural Dimensions in Myanmar. And the objectives are twofold. The first is to share years of personal experience in developing young people, identifying the crucial role that culture plays in shaping youth for the future. And secondly, the presentation will be from the perspective of a human resource developer, and the success and failure stories aim to impart valuable understanding of how we can prepare ourselves to play the part in building our youth for the future. And we have a quotation: we cannot always build the future of our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Our lecturer for today is Aung Mya Soe, who is currently the principal of MHTI, Myanmar Hospitality and Tourism Institute in Yangon, Myanmar. Graduated in English major. He has been an English teacher in government agriculture and technical high school. Then joining hospitality industry, he worked in local 4 to 5-star hotels, traveled around the world, working in cruise ships in the Middle East, and finally in the United Kingdom. He's a passionate human resources developer who has been educating and assisting young people in their career journey for more than 16 years. He partnered with Swiss Contact in vocational skill development program to train youth from disadvantaged background in hospitality skills and find them job placement since 2018. If you look at his Facebook page, he's still recruiting people for jobs in the United Arab Emirates right now, if you're interested. Saya Aung has initiated vocational training center at Myanmar Paul Karen Baptist Convention in 2016, and has been able to train hundreds of young people, mostly from rural areas, and link them to job opportunities. Saya Aung also assisted in teaching personal development and liberal arts program at Karen Baptist Theology School and poverty reduction strategies at Myanmar Institute of Technology, earning MIT.
Theology.
Myanmar Institute of Theology, MIT. Earning a master's degree in community development from Myanmar Institute of Theology, he joined PhD program in peace building with a research interest in building livelihood resiliency through skill development for displaced people in the IDP camp, internally displaced people. And he also had been teaching a course for the undergraduate program here, the general elective, at Payap University. So please welcome Aung Mya Soe.
Thank you very much. So I have to share my screen.
We can see it now.
Okay. Do you see? Okay, right. So thank you very much. I'm privileged to be given this opportunity to share my experience about the youth development. Actually, we are the Department of Religion, Culture, and Peace Building. That's why we will be talking about culture as well today. So the title I have chosen is the Youth Development and Cultural Dimensions. I've been for years developing young people. If you say sufficiently, it's just the hospitality skill, of course. But if you go in depth, I'm not just giving them the skill, but I'm preparing them for the future. And when I deal with the young people for these years, I find out sometime I failed in my endeavor, my effort, sometimes I succeed. That's why always I'm thinking, what's important, what's crucial in youth development, and the things that I discovered culture, the culture of the young people. When we say culture, we have a definition of culture later on. So with their backgrounds, you have to handle them individually, take them through the journey to the destination. So that's today what I'm going to share. So the quotes here, we cannot always build the future of our youth. That means sometimes we as elders, we as teachers, we as mentor, we want to build them, to build their future, but rather than building their future, we should build them for the future. So that's from Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay, the objectives have been already stated in the introduction, so I will not go further. Just that when we shape the youth for the future, we have to consider the cultural differences. Culture play a very, very important role. So I will share my experience, and then for those, I'm not sure we are parents or we are teachers or we are mentors or we are guides. If we really want to, to develop the young people for the new generation, these are some valuable lessons that I've learned. Personally, already explained by Dr. Ray that I'm a Karen. I'm a Karen from the Delta, not from the Thai border, but from the Delta. And after my graduation, I started as a teacher. Here, I didn't mention that I work in a village, a very remote village, and I become a teacher for a primary school. After that, a middle school. And then later on, as a government position, I was assigned, I got a post in Hofstede. Hofstede means in the east of Myanmar, near to Mae Hong Son. So the Hofstede were people with the badong, the long neck people. And I was an English teacher in an agricultural high school in Dimoso. At the moment, that place is terribly ruined by the conflicts. We just hear from yesterday and the day before that they are under conflicts. So after that, I moved to near the outskirts of Yangon in a technical high school, but now it has already become a university, technical university. It's in Mobi. So through the income challenges in that time, I joined the hotel in 1994 until 2007. So 4-star, 5-star hotels. And then I moved overseas, to get an international experience in cruise ship. We sailed around Europe, mostly in Europe, in many countries, and also in USA. And after that, I also have been in the Middle East for a while to work there. And from there, I moved to UK. It's in the southwest of UK. It's called Cornwall, in a very beautiful golf resort. That's my last destination in my career. And after that, I came back and I started the training of hotel, young people who want to enter the hospitality industry starting from 2005. Actually, I worked 6 months here and I go to the cruise 6 months. So 2 years, and then I quit my cruise life and I started as a trainer, a lecturer, and then promoted to the vice principal. It's in the other institute. And after that, in 2007, now I set up this current hospitality institute here in Yangon, in the heart of the educational environment. We are just near the Yangon Economic University, University of Economy, just across the road. So From 2017 until now, I'm the principal of this institute, and I work together with a company that have 4 or 5 big restaurants and 1 or 2 hotels. And so this is the M Hospitality Group. We are partnering with a Singaporean. So I would like to give you a bit of my background before I started sharing my experience. I was involved in the ASEAN, and yesterday Nai attended also my webinar about the Middle East job opportunity, especially in the FIFA World Cup. I'm working, partnering with RMC Thailand, and we've been recruiting interns for the 4-star and 5-star hotels in the Middle East. And in my webinar yesterday, I met one of my colleagues from Philippines, and we realized it's a decade already. It's a decade, it's 10 years already. And we've been trained and we've been involved in Myanmar, mutual recognition arrangement in ASEAN, in developing the competencies, tourism standard in the ASEAN members with 10 ASEAN members. And we've been up and down having workshops in the different countries, ASEAN countries, and we meet often. So later on, they certify as an ASEAN master trainer and master assessor. Especially, we have a workshop like 2 months, around 2 months in Bali. And apart from that involvement, I was also involved with vocational, they call it RICO-TVET, from 2014 to 2016 with the 10 ASEAN member countries. And we've been meeting all the vocational, technical vocational educators. We met often, and we end up in Germany for technical training. And we also learned that dual system of vocational in the training providers and also the work apprenticeship in the workplace. So that is a cross learning from each country. So this is my picture, my photo in ASEAN graduation, wearing the costume. And this is the my involvement with the GIZ in the RICO-TVET program. Here I am. In that time also, we have a project that we have to present. So I'm presenting the project in Jakarta, that 2016, around somewhere there. And this is me in Germany, in the Magdeburg University of Otto von Guericke. So we learned there in the Germany. And this is my record of my work. This is now the technical university in Mobi. That's my place where I work as a teacher, English teacher. And the Star Resources, which I design all the courses, and also the diploma. This is the diploma graduates. And this is the poker end. So I have a colleague here with me, Tamla, and we do a service learning project on this. And I developed this project, and we've been successful in training up more than 400 people from the rural. They came to Yangon, and we recruit them and we train them and we find them jobs. So more than 450 graduates are already working in the fields, but the program stopped because of the pandemic. And here my MHTI now, and my involvement with Payap. I think that is in 2018. I bring 10 chefs from Myanmar to learn Thai cuisine in Payap University. And these are all the faculty there. I think Miss Tian. And this is the one that I'm partnering with Swiss Contact since 2018. And this is the third contracts that I'm working with them. Every time I have to renew my proposal, and I have to compete with other training providers, but I win 3 times. And we've been recruiting people from disadvantaged background. We go to the outskirts of Yangon, and we talk with the CSO, we talk with the organization, the community, and then we recruit people who cannot afford the training. And now the program is going on here in my institute. Now we also included a culinary course at the moment here. So here, the one that I never forget is this is in the IDP camps in Kachin State. In 2018 and 19, we worked together with Myanmar Kindness Foundation, and they provide us with funds. And then we train people in the IDP camp and find them job. So the most pride that I get is one of them was a girl, and he was outstanding at that programs, and I give them scholarship here, the two girls here, and they came to study culinary arts in my school, and then we introduced them to the hotels, and now she is in JW Marriott's in Dubai, working almost a year as an intern. So that is one of the success. And here you might see that not just hospitality training, but tourism. I bring my students different country, ASEAN country. We have students like, the cultural exchange, and this is Bali. I brought them to Bali, I brought them to Vietnam, I brought them to Cambodia. So we travel around ASEAN country to learn about hospitality schools, how they are delivering the courses, and to learn about the culture, and to learn about the tourism there. So I have been able to introduce my people there, my young people there. So this is the MIT that I was working as a lecturer for poverty reduction in KBTS, Current Baptist Theological Seminary. I teach personal development. So these are my development records for the young people. So now we are going to the heart of my presentation. So mostly I deal with young people. So when we say youth, the definition is the age between 15 to 24. So youth. I'm not quite sure at that time. We also passed the young age, so we know how difficult to handle all these people. It requires an art to handle them, to develop them. So what is youth development then? So according to the US Department of Education, youth development is a process that we implement for the young people to acquire attitudes. Competency mean the one that I'm dealing, competency for hotel job, for tourism job, competency, and the values. We are building the values. Maybe they have their own cultural background, their own religion background, or what they acquire from their families and their community, they bring with them. So the values, when they meet us, do the value change? How do we develop values for them? And then the social skills. I always talk to them and tell them, I don't believe in 100% scores if you pass. People are outstanding in the examination will not do, I cannot guarantee that you will do well in the job. You will do well in your life. The most important thing is the social skill. I always let them know. So I'm not very into excellent students. I try to develop them in attitude, in values, and in skills. Apart from that, employability. Yeah? But when we say the employability, it's all include the attitudes and the communication skills, the interpersonal skills. These are the things that we have to mold them. Okay, so now it's not an academic presentation, but I go a little bit with Gert Hofstede. So the cultural dimension. Here, the power distance is very, very important because some people grow up in the society where there's a high power distance, where you have to obey your elders, You cannot, say anything. You cannot voice out. So you have to follow the rules, respects the elders, and tolerant with the concentrated powers. So not quite sure Myanmar people grew up that way, and the Western will be a distinctive characteristic of our Asian guys, and the Western may be a little bit different. So when we meet, the East and the West meet, there are some conflicts there. So this is very important, very crucial when we develop. We have to understand the power distance. Do they grow up in an environment where they have equality? They can just say anything what they want, and or they have to obey the elders. We are trained to obey the elders. So another thing is about Hofstede dimension is uncertainty avoidance. Always, I think I have a brother. Not everybody are the same, but some people, they are very reluctant to take challenges. They are uncomfortable with the risk, and ambiguity, or the ambivalence, the ambivalence of the sacred, like we learn, we are not sure of ourselves. So that the cultural dimensions that is based through our experience, it's through our upbringing, and I'm not quite sure it's a innate or heredity, I don't know, but we have that, so that our young people, sometimes they are not very sure about themselves, and they don't want to take risk challenges. They refrain from that. So these there are some culture that encourage performance. Reward that performance. So okay, do it, go for it, get it. So if you have an encouraging environment, performance-oriented environment, then you will be innovative. You will be critical thinking, high standards, excellent performance. So some young people will be growing up with that kind of culture, so they will be a different person in the crowds. And another cultural dimension is assertiveness. Assertiveness, very aggressive, very confident, very confrontational. If you say something that I cannot take it, then I will confront you. I will stand for it. Very aggressive. So yes, that is the kind of cultural dimension that we have to be careful when we handle them also. So, and the future orientation means they have a mindset that look beyond their eye. We have in Proverbs in Myanmar that you just look just what you see ahead, but you don't look beyond. So some young people, they are trained, or the culture itself, they look beyond. So they plan for the future, they look beyond the present. So there are people, young people who grow up in that way, but there are some that just see in front of them and not more than that. So this is something that gives us a hard time when we try to develop them, because they cannot see further. Like I can say example, I train up a young guy, but he cannot speak English very well. So I sent him to work in Malaysia, because language is not so important in Malaysia. But after Malaysia, I already planned for him to go to Dubai. And after Dubai, if he pick up the English and the experiences, I want to send him to a cruise ship. I plan already 10 years ahead. But after he returned from Malaysia, he just go back to the village. So something like that. So this is a future orientation. So they don't have the culture to look more than what they see. So something human orientation means we can say that feminism. So people who value the kindness, the empathy, nurture things. So like their parents take care of them. And especially in Myanmar, Myanmar is a unique place where even you get married and you get children, still your parents think you are children. So I see that in the high school, when the children are playing, the parents are outside looking at them, waiting them until the end of the school. Oh my God. So do you need to look at them, watch them the whole day? No, no way. But Myanmar is more focused on kindness, care, warmth, empathy, something. So we have human orientation. So when we grow up there with human orientation, I think we cannot stand. We are weak to stand up because we are being cared so much. Okay, so this is the diagrams. I take it from the internet, and I mean, so egalitarian, that means equal. You young, you are old, doesn't matter. We are equal. We can say what we want. I mean, we can say what we believe. So when the power distance is low, then I think this is, I'm not quite sure. Some people grow up in that environment and they have that kind of culture. So they won't care whether you are a professor, you are elder, or they don't care about that. So you will have those kind of young people with the egalitarian. So in the embraces hierarchy, I told you, I already explained about that. Collectivists mean when you are used to be trained to be in an organization, to be coherent with the organization, to be a team players, collectivism. But some of them grow up to be alone, reserved. You know, here I have my daughter who is, I mean, we love her so much, but sometimes when he came back from work, he just go to the room and then stay there, and very individual. So I called him, hey, are you staying in the house? So sometimes people are reserved individual. They want to stay alone. So this is the culture. They grow up this way. So we have to understand that. And already I explained about uncertainty, avoidance, risk, reluctant to take risks. Some people are very good in taking the risks. No problem. We will go for it. So these are people who are very confronting. And I already explained about nature importance, mean people like to be cared for, like to be looked after. They don't want to stand. They are so dependent. And for masculinity, no problem. We are strong, and I can do it my own. I can lead. This is the kind of culture. In a traditional short-term and long-term, like I say, I will come with a case study about the short-term and long-term orientation. Sometimes we cannot see. So this is a culture that we grow up. We just see in front of us. We never look beyond that. And normative repression, sometimes people are trained in a way that they have to control themselves. They grow up in an environment, a community that they are restrained. They are boxed. You know? They cannot go out of the box. You know? So that is the culture dimension that restrain us. And there are some other communities, some other cultures that, okay, you go for it, 16 years, you can go outside, you can stay at night time, no problem. So these are the differences between the cultures of the young people and the 18 to 25, you can imagine. So these are some of the academic background of the culture dimension by Hofstede. Okay, now, why it is essential to integrate cultural dimension in youth development. Okay. If you don't take, I mean, if you don't, you think it's not necessary, okay, it's depend on me. No, it's not depending on me. It's depend on their culture, background. So we need to understand each and every individual. If I say like that, maybe because I'm from the perspective of human resource developer, I see people individually and I take them individually. And it's hard work and more extensive work. And people say, why you should have to take care of each of them? It's enough, let them stand on their own. But I'm not a kind of person like that. So I have to look at their background and I have to see their strength and weakness, their cultural dimension, and then according to their needs, I take them through the journey. So their cultural background, find out their inner self. Later on in the case study, I will highlight all these requirements. And we can work together to prepare them for the future. I always tell the young people, when you walk in under my roof, I mean, when you come to learn from me, we will not teach you, but we will work together. I always say these words in the orientation, the first day. We are not alone to teach you. You have to work, and we have to work, and we have to work with your parents as well. We work together for our future. That's my belief. So don't try to think that like when we are young, we want to change the world. You cannot change the world. You cannot change the young people. I mean, you want to build their future, of course, but you cannot build them, as I told you, but you cannot build the future. You can build them, prepare them to face the future. That's it's the essence of today's talk. It is extremely important to see through the lens of culture. Always look at them through the lens of culture and try to mold them accordingly. No, individual, they are unique each other, and you cannot force it. You will see later in my evidence. We cannot force them. But still in Myanmar culture, in Myanmar society, we still have people who are forced, even like we talk in culture classes, they are forced to get married to a person who they never know before. People sometimes accept it, no? But are you going to force their future, or are you going to mold them to face the future? This is your choice. Okay, when I go to the Karen people, mostly the ethnic people are a little bit different. And this is the PowerPoint as I will talk to them. Looking at the Karen people, they are very peaceful. They don't have any tricks. They are honest, but quiet. Is it a strength or weakness? I don't know. Sometimes we are simple, too simple. I mean, is it stupid? I don't know. And kind and patient, faithful, friendly, humble, obedient, and all the cultural dimensions that I mentioned in Hofstede fall in this. So I might say this is the strength of the culture of Karen people when I talk to them. We know we are good here in our mind, in our heart, in our behavior, but at the same time, we are dualism, ambivalence of the sacred, the profane and the sacred. You know? So we learn from there. So sometimes you have the good side of the person and the bad side, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the weakness here, we are too shy. We are not open enough. We are concealed. We are reserved. We want to stay alone. We cannot survive in society as a team. We are self-defensive, of course. If you just say something that I cannot take it or I didn't commit it, then I will be defending myself. This is the culture of Karen people. I don't know, Mumamya, you have to tell. And we are stubborn a bit, too stubborn. And another thing that is alcoholic addicted, this is sometimes is indulgence. I can define it, indulgence. And sometimes precautious. Precautious means when you want to take a risk, then you always see the pessimistic, not in a positive way. You see things in negative way and too cautious, then you don't do anything. And we seems to be very open and impolite in the way we say things. And we never stand for ourselves. We go for somebody to talk for us, seek intermediary. That's its some of the byproduct of our culture as a Korean people, that I always tell them, okay, now let's stop a while and go to my work, and just a very draft of my work. And this is MHTI, and the building here, I'm sitting down here, and this is the course that we are providing for the young people. Of course, if you see it as just a skill, then this is just a skill and just for employability. But I go further than that. That's why I see the fruits of the seeds that I sow. And it's been 17 years, and until now, I have my students who are teacher now here. So this way I nurture them. So these are all the courses. You see, this is the diploma course, and the faces you see are here now, all in overseas. That's I'm proud. I can proudly say that. And this is the kitchen, the practical kitchen that we have. And now we are having the classes going on here. And this is the hotel, our M hotel, our partner hotels and a training for the front office people. And this is the bakery and pastry. In the pandemic time, I myself become a deliverer. You know, we don't have any more job, no classes. So I say, okay, let's produce pizza and all these bakery, and we will sell them and we will deliver them. We started together, and we passed that pandemic through this. We stand very firm. Okay, this is the bar that we have, the practical room. And this is the coffee, barista courses. And this is the housekeeping upstairs there, guest room. And this is the restaurant that we practice our food and beverage service. And this is the English communication course. So these 9 courses we are running here, and we are producing the professionals for this industry. Okay, this is a part of memory with Payap. This is the 10 chef that I bring to Payap. I think it's in 2018. And we train them for a week with Thai cuisine and with the faculty, I think Miss Tian. And this is when Dr. Sombong, I met him, I think it's 2014 or 15. I came to Payap with my students to learn community-based tourism, and we traveled to the nearby villages. I went also to the Mephalong University, where my daughter studied also, and we went to Chiang Mai University, many places. So this is Payap theaters, and this is Dr. Rax. So we come for community-based tourism in one of the village. We've been to Mekampong, and the other village I don't know. So I just have one picture here, Ban Pong Huilan. This is a homestay. We stay there and we learn from there. So this is Dr. Rax. I'm not sure where he is now. You know, he was a president before. And this is Mephalong University. And we also been to Chiang Mai University as well. So this is a cultural exchange. I bring them, my students, to Bali. I bring them to Vietnam. Here, there's cultural exchanges that I did. I have quite a lot of records, and I'm satisfied with that because I let them understand the diversity. Okay, if you are staying in your country, you will see that you are the only people. But when you go to different country, you learn different cultures, and then you understand more about to live coherently and to live in harmony, to value diversity. That is the message that I give them, apart from tourism trip. And this is one of the model, maybe Miss Momania know this, also my students. Okay, now let's go to another academic, sorry. But this is the book that I read when I'm in university, given by my friend, Aung Mya Soe. Maybe Momania know very well, we are classmates, Aung Mya Soe. He is now in Chiang Mai, and he is in the Peace Center. We are classmates in university. So the teacher is managing. I still have that book, very old already, and the color is already faded. But I precious. I value it. We as a teachers, as a developer, we have many roles. We are a guide, we are a modernizer. Of course, that's why I never grow old. You know? Now I have IT people, and I have to start. Dr. Ray, you told me to design all these things. I have to design this thing. Okay, no problem. I have to grow younger. I have to do this. You know? Now the Zoom and everything. Okay, headache. And I still have to learn a lot. We are modernizer. We are a bridger between the young generation, the old generations, and we have to grow younger. And we have a model, a role model. We are such a always looking for things, you know, never stop learning. You have to learn before you train people. You yourself have to know more than that. You are a counselor, always. I have to talk with people, young people. Even yesterday, I talked with one of the girls who I will go to mention in the case study. Until now, I'm still a mentor for them. It's more than 10 years already. And a stimulator of creativity, always we have to let them, okay, go critical, go innovative, go creative. Now, don't stay in your box, go out of the box. This is always. We are sometimes we have to be authority. You do this way, you do that way, like Dr. Ray told me. Okay, I appreciate it anyway. And we have to inspire, we have to sell the vision. Of course, I mean, young people, we tell them to plan for their career, but sometimes they didn't see to very beyond their eyes. So we have to sell them the vision. We inspire them to move this way. And sometimes we have to face the reality. When you fail, you fail. Because this is reality. You will not always succeed. We are an emancipator. Sometimes we have to redeem. We have to, take them out of the troubles, you know, to save them sometime. They are not themselves. They cannot stand on their own. They need some of our help. So we have to save them. We are evaluator. Okay, sometimes people cannot take the feedback. So you have to open up. I mean, we always evaluate them, tell them this way, you go this way wrong. Why don't you go this way? We are conserver. Conserver is like conservation. If it is a plant, then we have to conserve them. So young people as living things, and we don't want them to be ruined. So we have to conserve them. We have to nurture them. We have to water them to grow. And we are a culminator. Culminator means we have to take the best out of the person. That is being a teacher. So teachers now, even you are not a teacher, you might be a parent, you might be an elder. Those are the roles that we play, and we never end all these roles. The roles we go on. Maybe you can agree or disagree with me. Okay, now come to the case study. The first person is my son. So how do I go compare with the cultural dimension? So the first thing is, how do you call power distance? Where you have a strong power distance, you obey the elders. My son is somebody who is very obedient, and he grew up in a way that he never being aggressive. He always listened to what I say. And when he is in university, he want to work. So I say, go to the hotel and work. And he go and work in the hotel as a waiter and in the banqueting, and sometimes working 2 shifts. And I never hear him complain anything. Work so hard, and later on promoted. And after 4 years, okay, this time you have to go international. So now he went for a cruise ship. He worked already in 4 contracts. Now he is in America. And this is very obedient. So I don't need to worry about him because it's the kind of person who have obedient. Okay, this is my daughter, lovely daughter. When he was 17, I just take him to, I've been several times to Mephalong University and through the tourism board from Myanmar. And I have a workshop, a meeting with the presidents. And then I tell the president of the Payap, Mephalong University, I will bring my daughter to study here. And then I asked for a scholarship and she got it. She got it. And then she studied 4 years. When I remember the day that I bring her to Payap University, she looked at me the way that I never forget. Why you bring me to this place? Yeah. But she didn't complain, but she's very assertive. You cannot force her to do things. She stand on her own. So the children, the two of them are different already. Then I say, why they grew up in the same family and why they are like this? Then you have to see that I have my own parents and my wife also have parents. They have grandparents. So the way they grow up through their grandparents, and also my mother, my father, the characteristic, the culture, the religion, and the environment that they grow. Like my daughter, after 17 years, 4 years in the university alone, have to be very independent. So these are the cultural dimensions that brace the person, that they grow up the way they are. So this is some of the examples. So when you want, can you force them? Of course not all of them. And another one is future orientation. This, you can see that girl with the white shirt. She is, she is now in the United States and have 2 children already. And this girl, when she is a computer graduate, and her mother passed away, and her aunt bring her to me and said she doesn't know what to do. And the aunt also say, the auntie say, okay, I give her to you. You take care of her. So that the time that I have to train her, and then I have to introduce her to the jobs, and then later on she said she want to go to the cruise ship. So she works in Carnival cruise ship. And as a girl, but working in a bar, culture is opposite, but still she is determined. So this kind of girls, the father is also sick and the mother passed away. So this kind of girls, they need future orientation, means they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to plan their future. So they need your guidance. That's the way I nurture them. And now she is in the United States, married, 2 children. Okay, so sometimes young people, they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to plan the future. Oh, another one. This is the girl. Probably some of you know her, but I don't want to say in detail. Just yesterday, I called her. She is in Dubai now. Uncertainty, voidness, mean people cannot face their future. They are not too confident. So they need your help, your guidance. The culture itself, not very strong. She was a model when I met. She came to study, I think it's 10 or 12 years ago. And she went to Dubai, worked there for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and came back. And as she was a model, she came back to modeling, and then she was filmed in a film or 2. And she is a tall girl, very tall and very smart, and also can speak English very well. But after a while, she lost, the career as an artist is not so promising in this country. And later on, she lost her career, and then she came back after 10 years, a few years, in 2019, I think, 2020 or 2021. She came to me that I want to go back to Dubai. So what should I do? And then I connect with Dubai, and she went to work there, but she's not satisfied. She said she wants to go back to hotels, and she work in the hotels, and she still have a very unconfidence. I mean, she's not confident. So yesterday I call up her and say, "What? How are you doing?" She is still facing. I say, "You are already a lady. You are not a girl anymore. 10 years ago I met you as a girl, but now you are not a girl anymore. So you have to stand it. You have to face it. You have to be confident." You know? So even just for a joke, I gave her the song, the Britney Spears, "I'm not a girl yet, a woman." So she has to face it anyway. She have to be confident. So maybe most probably people will know after I show the film. Okay, now the boy from Payap State, I know his parents, and he is a guy who is in the village. Parents bring him to Yangon, and then we start planning for his future. So I told him, "You go for English class, you go for computer class." And after a while, it's become like a nightmare for him. He said, "No, no, no, I will not stay here." And he ran away. So, oh, the parents and me, we are headache. Oh, of course, we have to understand how the people, the young people, they grow up in the environment that they never expect to change. And when they are in a different environment, they cannot adjust. It's a nightmare for them every day. Even we want to change the future. Of course, I want to change him. I want to give him a good life, but he doesn't want it. So he ran away. Sorry, I failed. We fail. The parents fail. Several times we tell him to stay, but he ran away. So sorry. This is a kind of short-term orientation. Young people cannot see beyond their eye, and they are not comfortable in the environment they grow. So another one is this guy, the flight attendant Emirates. I'm very surprised when 1 year ago, he came back to me and he talked that I was in the airline already. So this guy, I think also 10 years ago, I mean, quite a long time ago, he studied with me, and then he is preparing to go overseas, and suddenly a medical fail, I think hepatitis B, I think. And then he is disappointed, discouraged, and almost give up everything. And I see him that time. I say, "My boy, you get well, then we will start again. Come on, come back to me." So after, I think the treatment take 6 months or something, and then after the treatment and the medical is right, then he came back to me, and then we start applying for jobs, and then he went to Middle East, and now suddenly he became a flight attendant. So this is some time people need mature, I mean, kind, empathy from you to grow. So, okay. And I have another girl, a tomboy. Actually, she came with a girlfriend to study here, and then they go, I mean, they are studying front office receptionist. And after their study, they go for interview. And of course, it's a tomboy, so he never wears skirts, and he wear only trouser. And he went for interview with her girlfriend, and the girlfriend passed, and she didn't pass. And the interviewer say, "You don't look like a girl, so I cannot put you in the reception." She got very angry, and she came back to me and said, "Why like this?" Okay, I tell, "My girl, you have to take it. I mean, this is life. If you want to become a receptionist, you have to wear trousers, you have to wear skirt, you have to take makeup." Okay, then I think she listened to me, and I know that she went overseas, and when she came back, she come and see me. Okay, life is hard, sometimes. So this is like, how do you call a gender egalitarian? Man, woman, doesn't matter. We have the right to do it. So why not? Of course, go. I met many people. I met also gay. So we have to take them as a gay. I have some flight attendant boys who work in the flight and then become gay. So I'm surprised. And I also have students who married a man in Europe. And also in United States, they went and married a man in the court, and they sent me the video, and I was, oh. Anyway, this is gender egalitarian, so you have to take it. And the last one is the Muslim boy. I remember it's in 2007 when that boy came to study, and is it individualism cannot survive in the team. So when people talk about religions, talk like here in Myanmar, we say kala kala. We call Indian guy, a Muslim guy, say kala. Then when he heard about kala, then he's so angry. They talk about Muslim to talk about the Burmese people, and the majority talk about this, and then suddenly he came out of the class and sit down somewhere outside, and I say, hey, why? Oh, what's happened? I don't want to stay in the room. That they are talking about Muslim, and they are blaming us. So I don't want to stay with this Burmese guy. Oh my God. So I have to talk to him very carefully. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So past some time, people cannot grow in a team. They cannot stay in a team. So individualism. So play important roles when you mold people. So for this girl, I will show you the movie that she played. And this is the movie that she played, and this is her. I think some of our people will know her very well, because I don't want to hurt her also. Okay, this is the record of my youth development, the IDP camps, the Swiss contact disadvantage, the rural peoples, and these are my stars and my celebrities who are working overseas. You see, they are all now enjoying. I mean, it's not enjoying life, but they are facing the reality. Either it's hard or it's cultural shock, or they are standing and they are passing their life now. So I'm proud of that they are standing in the way that they have to grow up. So they are now in overseas countries and enjoying their life. So the conclusion: success or failure is more or less related to our cultural background and how we respond to the challenges. So people with their background, they come to face the reality, and either they fail or they succeed. When you want to develop youth for the future, of course, we as elders, we set target for them, but sometimes they will not achieve it. When we fail or when they fail, we both feel frustrated. Why? I've spent so much time. Now I have a niece who I'm forcing her to go for overseas, but because she worked in hotel for 5 years and the English is not improved. And then I try sometimes, why you spend five years without learning English? I'm not, I don't expect you to stay here for 10 years or more, but you have to go overseas. You have to find experience. I always scold her. No. Okay, so we should keep in mind, and the reminder of Franklin, don't build their future, build them. Okay, instead of trying to force them the way we want, it is advisable that we prepare our youth to face the future with poise and confidence. That's the way. Youth development and cultural dimension always go hand in hand. Don't forget. Remember their culture, remember their background. It's a matter of how well we integrate that too. The masterpiece totally depends on the hand of that mold and shape them, the developer. You, me, we are developer. So the masterpiece in front of us depends on the hand that mold that young people. With that, I conclude, and I have some reflection that you might want to discuss. Is it really essential to understand culture, or it doesn't matter? A cultural dimension plays an important role in the success and failure of the development. So what are our responsibility as a developer? Who are more challenging to handle? Of course, let's say it's a westernized culture or Asian culture. Asian culture is soft, but Western is a bit hard. are you handling and why it's challenging? How can we foster a positive youth development? Optimistic. In which way we can build up our youth to face the future? These are all the questions that I handed to you if you want to discuss. And thank you very much for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saya, for your wonderful presentation based on both your personal and professional experiences. So I think the youth who are, I don't know how many are youth in this meeting, are thinking, can they look for jobs outside with your help, like internationally, like work in Qatar for the World Cup, or are they overage, the people in this group? Saya.
These people are already overrated. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those who will mold the youth. We are building the future. We are old enough, so we are stepping down. So we have to give young people to be our future leaders. That's my aim.
Okay. Don't worry, I'm not thinking of myself. Mon, please.
Hey, brother, I really appreciate your presentation. It's really perfect. And also it raised a question, you know, during your presentation, because I would like to raise this question based on the real situation Myanmar youth face today. As you know, this time, I mean, this political situation encourage more young people to take arms rather than building their future. So, I mean, it's a dilemma for people like my son. He is kind of like very obedient one. He doesn't want to take arms. He doesn't like violence. And at the same time, he doesn't want to leave the country because he feel like if he go out the country and find a new, you know, opportunity, it's not fair for other youth, other young people who are fighting against the authoritarian or the military regime. So it's kind of, he's between the dilemma. But like a parent like me, I want him to study abroad because he's like right now, he has no future, cannot study and he cannot work. So, you know, I mean, it's just a difficult situation and I don't want to interfere his decision so much because he's already 22. So I let him decide. But what will you suggest in this kind of situation for the young people in Burma who are really facing dilemma for, you know, for their future?
Actually, when the first thing is the pandemic. When the pandemic started, the classes and the schools, the university are closed down, and then the dilemma started. And the second dilemma is more severe. That's in February 2021. The dilemma is so much that our youth lost their future. So with me, do I stop? I asked myself, and here the investors say, okay, be careful, but I know that I will not stop. If I stop, then the future will be more darker for the young people. So I start. I mean, even recruiting them for overseas. Some people say you are just brain draining the young people. You train them and you send them to overseas. So I told them, at this moment, do they have any opportunity in this land with this situation, with the pandemic and with the conflicts? No way. So why not they go outside and they start building a life, and when everything settled down, they come back as a better person. So that's my decision. So even my daughter, my son, and my other young people, when they come, I always say, what do you want to do? The first thing is I always ask them when they come to enrollment, I say, what do you want to do? What is your passion? What is your ambition? Let's work together. I think that is the most important thing you asked him. Rather than shaping the future, you have to ask him first what you want to do. And like my son, I told him, you want to go overseas? You want to work in a hotel? No problem. Then he went, no problem. But my daughter, I told him, don't you want to go overseas? No. Now he work in the tourism, and the toll company also closed down. So he shift to the media. Now he is a media girl. So with her, I say, you graduate 4 or 5 years ago, and now you didn't discover yourself. Yes, but I just ask her, my daughter, what do you want to do? I think that's the way that we approach our young people.
Thank you. We have other questions or comments? Kathy.
It wasn't a question, it was my applause. My Wi-Fi is very choppy, so I'm not sure if Mr. Ong, you can hear me. I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is not so great. So maybe for now, I just defer to another person. I do want to comment, but my Wi-Fi is not so good.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ong. I have a greater appreciation for all that you are doing. I know we are together since last August in class together, but I can see how much of a mentor, a leader you are. You have one daughter and one son, but actually you have many young people that you are mentoring. So I can see you are very much a father figure. Maybe I miss this part of your presentation when I'm kicked out of the Zoom room. So maybe if you did, I'm sorry if I'm repeating something, but I'm really struck by the distinctiveness of what you are doing. Especially, so I would like to know, is there something culturally distinctive about the hospitality and tourism? And yes, with the youth focus, I think that is one of your reflection questions, but what is culturally distinctive about hospitality and tourism? The reason I ask that is just to hear a little bit more of your reflection about. So can you share a little bit? Again, if it's repeating something you've said already, I apologize, but just to hear a little bit more.
No, not really, but when we say tourism and hospitality, most of our elders and our community, how do you call it, sniffing. Yeah. I went to Karen village and I talk about tourism, and then what I hear back from the leaders there, if we bring tourism into our region, in our land, what happened to our girls? They will become prostitutes. So I'm shocked, you know? So if you're working in hospitality, you are dealing with different peoples and different nationalities and international persons. And I myself work in the bar for 4 years and I never drink. So what is this? I mean, I tell them, it's your decision. And I used to train young girls to become a bartender as well. So it's culturally contradicting the girls to work in a ship. There is no, how do you call, sea woman. There is only seamen. So these are cultural conflicts. And especially when you talk about Middle East, then the parents say it is Muslim country. Oh, so these are the challenges we are facing with the old-fashioned culture background. So our young people have to face this, have to fight for it. Some fail, of course, some succeed. And I myself passed through that experience. So I can share it, I can give example, I can give them guidance and precautions. So it's not always the case of tourism and hospitality. When you talk about culture, of course, we are living in a world with very diverse, and even in our country, we have more than 100 ethnicities. So if we cannot live with different religions and different diversity, culturally different people, how this world can become a peaceful world? We are in a peace building. So I try to let my students and even the parents to understand the diversity and how we can survive in the diversity, how can we live in harmony, and especially in the work that is challenging culturally. I mean, some are not really culture center job, like a bar waitress, a bartendress, and working in a housekeeping. Some people think working in a night shift, coming back in the morning, 3 o'clock, into the quarter, and people start saying, this girl, where is she's coming back? Is she a prostitute or something? So these are the cultural challenges that our young people face, especially when they choose tourism and hospitality jobs. And if they want to work in the cruise ship, ships is for men, not for women. But I myself in 2008 and 9, I introduced the girls to the cruise ship, the first batch from Myanmar. So I confidently say it is how you build them for the future to face that diverse. Of course, some will fail, but not always a failure is to stop you. Thank you.
Thank you, Say. Dr. Lee.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Aung. It's a wonderful presentation. I learned a lot from you, and I can see your talents in the thing that you are doing. I have two questions. Question one, I see that among your students, some of them are successful, but some are not. So have you ever reflected on this, and according to your judgments, what are some of the most important qualities that make some of your students successful? Could you share, what are the most qualities that make some of them successful, that some others are not because they don't have that? And then the second question, I see that you are very patient to nurture some of them again and again after years. So my question is, when is the point that you give up? When is the point that you see that you cannot do it anymore, you give up? Okay, could you please share? Thank you.
It's a challenging question. So we think that if we build them employability skill, but when we say employability skill, is not always the vocational skill. That's people wrongly say that if they get the skill, they will be able to enter the industry and they be successful. It's not always that. So the quality for success is not their fluency or their excellent performance, but the way, the attitude, the values inside that you build for them, the way they face the world, the tolerance and the adaptability, and the seeing beyond and a bit more determined and perseverance. That is the success factor, the quality for the success. It's not about their fluency and their skill, their excellence, but how they adapt to the situation and how well they are tolerant with this, the encountering, and how they are determined how they pass through that without any turning left or right. Sometimes we are young people, we also pass the young ages. We are being tempted from side to side to go on astray. But how well you focused and how well you are determined, how well you are persevere, how well you adapt to the situation is the success factor. Question number one. Question number two, with 17 years of experience, I have to give up. Sometime I have to say, okay, I give up, because you cannot always, build the future of the young people, and you try to build them, but only if they receive that, only if they are willing to be molded. Of course, a clay, if it is too hard, you can not mold them, but it have to be soft. It have to be the way that you mold them. Of course, you'll be patient, but sometimes when it is hard, you have to give it away. Sorry. And I see my students who went to overseas in the United States, and now he's working as a farmer. Oh, but I have to give up. No. That's the culture that you cannot change. You cannot change the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Saya. We have questions from other friends. Leize, you're thinking of your experiences. No? Daniel.
No, I just want to say that thank you very much, Mr. Ong. I learned a lot from you as well. It's so nice to see how you can help a lot of people with your knowledge. Yeah.
I have one girl now, my girl, Luita, she's not here. She is my ex-student. When she came to me, she is only 17 now. How old are you now?
Yeah, I appreciate everything that you're doing.
And I think I sent some email to you about this girl. She's going to work. She wants to work in Chiang.
Yeah, I read forward to my friends. Yeah, okay. I sent to my friends.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Liza, go ahead.
No, I just want to congratulate you because it's very nice. Like you always talk that work with in this project, and it's very nice to know deeply and see how you are changing futures and you are inspiring people and you are in a strategic position. Like I'm not in your place and you are doing very well with your gifts and everything. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Daniel, please.
Yes. Thank you, Sia. But I would like to ask some, first, I don't want to be a cynical. I mean, for empowering youth, and so at least for training to be a professional worker for international, level up you are training for them. It will take at least a year or 2 years. But now I'm thinking about for hotel and this tourism business in the world, because of pandemic, we face so much challenge than any other world history. But now I'm thinking about people, a person who trying to innovate about AI, like artificial intelligence, like a Japanese product, like they want to substitute the waiter or waitress, the same a service that they can provide you, and not substitute for the instead of using the human being. Because I'm thinking about is this pandemic, like a modern challenge, don't want to be more close to each other. I mean, like we try to be discount. I mean, not to contaminated by any diseases or blah 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 blah. So, what do you think about this modern world challenge with your career? Going to be affected or like ruin your profession? Or so, what do you think about with my like a modern world challenge, especially technology? Because mostly people, let's say for when we were young, let's say one of my several uncles are working at a cruise ship, like a radio officer, for example. But then once after the world changed, like a GPS global position satellite, or then they lose their job. Many workers lose their job. They tend to they need to resume or start to learn a new thing when they are age of 45 or 50, around there. Some people, they lose their, they don't want to learn a new thing and they lose their career, or even got a problem with their family, conflict between in their own family. So this is what I'm thinking about. Some area where the AI, like artificial intelligence product, are much more, I mean, substitute in our world, our community. How do we overcome on this? Sorry if my question is very complicated to you. Sorry that this I'm thinking about with relevant with your business or your career.
Right. A few days ago, I watched the television news and I see that, is it in China Olympic? I don't know. They are using a robot waiter and even in the airport. So I mean, scientific technologies are taking the place of human being, but nevertheless, our humans are the center of the world. I mean, we will never lose our position, our firm position as the the center of everything. So of course, with the pandemic, now my students are maybe next month they have to go for internship, and we talk with the hotels and the restaurants, and now with the pandemic it's a bit difficult, and maybe tomorrow I'm going to the hotels to talk with the general manager, the human resources manager, and they are asking about the COVID vaccines, and it's very challenging. The Novotel hotels also invite my students to work there for a part-time, but now they stop again, and they are having intern in Pan Pacific, but now they stop. So there's our challenges, but if we face challenges, do we sit down and wait for this? No, we cannot wait. We have to find a way. If there is a will, there is a way. That's my motto. So I will never stop. I will try to find a way. This is the first way that I find in May 2021 that I try to recruit my young people and to oversee. Then they say, why you send people overseas or other countries for what? No, I say there is no opportunity. So why let them work there? Of course, when I was in the United States, when I was in UK for 2 years, I never want to stay back there. So it doesn't mean that we envy or we are too ambitious, our people to go and stay in a developed country. One day they will come back for sure. So that's the way we have to find a way. Of course, there are, a lot of challenges there, but I'm determined to find the ways for the young people. And now we are having increasing students, and we are asking for a new building, and our investors say, no, wait. Okay, so still that I have to manage all the classes, how it's going inside the time. So there are challenges everywhere. The only things that you find the way, then of course, humans are in the center of the universe. No scientific and technology will take their place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Last comment from Motida, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. And thank you, Dr. Thank you, Mr. Aung. So thank you so much for your presentation about in what are you doing now. So I learned a lot from you. So not questions, not comments. So this is sharing about my thoughts. So I am follow the Dr. D questions of the success. So you mentioned about the cultural dimension plays an important role in the success. So success is the accomplishment of something. So I'm thinking about the success. So success is we talk about success. So when we think about our side or their side, I mean youth side. So I'm working with Payap University certificate course since 2013 and something like that. So the migrant area in Myanmar, so develop the certificate course for the community development, financial management, something like that. So in terms of the project, until now, the project is sustainable because of the certificate course carry on inside Myanmar, some of the CBU and some of the NGO working until now. But this is our success, this is our accomplishment for this project. But I'm thinking about the younger people side. So they are success or not. So that's why my thought is success. Success is accomplishment of something for our project side, but I'm thinking about the youth side. Because of you talk about in the presentation in one of your students, so they finish your courses and then abroad to study, and then after that he or she is doing farmers. So I am thinking about that this story. So he or she accomplished the certificate goals and then go to abroad, and then finally he or she do farmer. So that is my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, the success you have to look at not the way you want the people, but success doesn't always mean that achievement. Sometimes success is the way they want to live, the freedom they want to have. So even like my daughter now, I want her to have a higher paid job and a more promising career, but still she is in that media. And I mean, it's not always, we are not always talking about success. It depends on how you define the success. Success is not always about the position, it's not always about the income, but sometimes success is about satisfaction also. So it depends on how you define success. From in the way, the eyes of the developer, or the eye of those who are developed, or from the perspective of the project. But finally, it's about the person who faced that. The success is on that person, not on you and not on the project. So I think success depends on those who take it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Say, for excellent presentation. Before you go, we have an evaluation. Please fill it out. There are only 2 questions. For the second one, think of it, if you are not a Payap student, just how is it useful to you, just yourself. Please answer the 2 evaluation questions and think of the whole program of Payap throughout the semester. Okay, we're still waiting for, okay, evaluation.
I submitted.
I got 6 out of 9. Once you're done, you can leave. We need 3 more.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aung. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
Fill out the form before you go. Yeah.
Nice to see you all.
See you all.
In our class, Dr. Ray.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll have a 5-minute break or 10-minute break. We'll be back 10:47.
In the same Zoom.
Same Zoom, 10:47. All right. One decided not to do the evaluation. Thank you. Okay, so see you in 10 minutes. Thank you.